back. It's time for our next community conversation. We are joined by Jamie Gellner, the Director of Special Projects and Program Evaluation for Albemarle County Public Schools. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Hi, Casey. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we're happy to have you. And we are talking about the instructional audit that just took place. And as a reminder, can you give us a little overview of why the division did this audit and some of the changes that were recommended in it?
Sure. So last year, we put a team of people together that was looking at the question of why are our students of color in high school Algebra 1 and K-5 reading and math performing lower than other students in the state and lower than their peers in other demographic groups here in Albemarle County. And so as part of that, we brought in a third-party vendor, Bellwether, and they're a national education equity firm, and they conducted an audit in our school division. They interviewed hundreds of people, and they observed classroom instruction in 11 of our schools, and they made a series of recommendations last year. So those recommendations covered curriculum, instruction, professional learning, family engagement, and also just some general structural changes.
Yeah, and I know this was something that was really important to the school division. It made a big commitment to doing this audit and now to implementing the changes that were recommended by the auditors. And the community was involved in the original one, and now it's involved in the steps that the schools are taking to follow up as well. Tell us a little bit about what the division's doing now and kind of how the community is working together and collaborating with them.
Okay, so last year we did have a number of community members and particularly parents on our team, and they actually helped to workshop a lot of the Bellwether recommendations and make recommendations for planning moving forward. And so we really listened to our parents and how we planned our projects this year. We have a number of teams that are set up and forming. One is on our professional learning that's forming. If people are interested, they can go to our Albemarle site, www.k12albemarle/bellwether, and they can look and see what they're interested in and send me an email.
Perfect.
Another way is through our family engagement nights. All of our schools will be hosting engagement nights for reading and math in particular, so they should be on the lookout for those and attend if they're interested for their own children. We also are adopting a theory of change, which we had some sessions last week, but there will be additional opportunities this spring. And finally, our English language arts curriculum is being renewed. We're picking a new one. That team has already formed, but parents can still participate in the adoption process, which will be coming up this winter. Right now, we're in the stage where we're reviewing all of the research-based curriculum that the state has provided. But there will be opportunities for parents to actually take a look at that as well.
Okay, so a lot of ways for people to weigh in. And finally, real quick before we go, tell us how the community can stay informed during this whole process.
So we will have a lot of information on our website. So that's www.k12albemarle/bellwether. And also the next school board work session is October 26th, where 4 of the project managers will be providing updates on curriculum, assessments, professional learning, and our instructional coaching model. And I'll be leading a work session around the theory of change. So they can tune in, live stream, or actually come to McIntyre and see it. And get involved on our website.
All right, great stuff. Thank you for taking the time to be here today.
Thanks, Casey.
Yep, we'll have you back soon, and we will be right back.